In this video, I will be building a jig that will help me determine the correct location for the shock towers and the subframe. I'll use these two bolts here and build a bar that ties up here to a plate for the correct location of the shock towers, and then I'll tie it into those two bolts over there in that shock tower. So the plate will go right here with these mounting holes. So that will relate to these two holes here and these three bolts up here to try and make sure that this whole system is correct. And then that will translate to this over here on Shrek to tie it all together. We started off by redesigning the flange for the shock tower. We did this by recreating that little plastic piece that goes on top of the shock exactly, and then from there we added a little bit of material to the inside and outside to make it so we could weld to it better without warping it or anything. By we, I meant Antonio and I was teaching him how to use SolidWorks. Then we printed it out in paper and cut it out and compared it to the chassis to see how it fit. It was perfect. And I got the Arcdroid over here. So I got my work set in the center. So I'm gonna hit run now. First time cutting. Oh, this is gonna poke it out because it cut the outside first. Hopefully it doesn't fall out yet. Oh, I made it. So there it's done. Now I gotta figure out how to cut the second one in this area over here. Okay, I think I got the second location set. I don't know exactly how to change the order of operation, so I'm gonna hope this one doesn't fall out like the first one did whenever I run it. So I'm gonna turn the torch back on and hit run. Oops, that one failed. Okay, I think I got it positioned and ready to cut. So turning on the plasma and hit and run. Of course that one didn't fall out. So now let's see if I can pop those out of there. I need a glove. There's a glove. So there's the finished part. I need to grind down the slag a little bit. There. That one's done. So now they're not too hot. That's cool. Okay, sorry for the wind out here. It's got a storm brewing, I guess. So now this piece goes up here. So now I'll put the other one on the other side, and then I'll start working on the bar that goes here. I don't think I need to, I might deal with this one with a little plate, but I think I can figure that one out after the fact once I get it in the car. It's just this to that side. That is the key. Millimeters apart, and it's 15 millimeters in diameter at the top, but the big point here. So it'd be 115, not 130. Let me check the other side. Yep, the other side is the same. So 115 center to center with a 15 millimeter diameter hole. $115, okay, and then we need to go halfway between each of these, and they're, oops, I gotta go back to inches because I'm got inch material, 1.5 inches, so if we go 0.75. Mess this one up a little bit. Let's see, center to center. Oh, exactly 115. And same. Now it's time to find a drill bit that's close to 15 millimeters. If I could use a step drill that has 15.6 size on it, that would be close enough, I think. But I need to drill all the way through so that I get a consistent hole straight through the pipe. My drill press barely has 3 inches of travel, so I might be able to get this to go out the other side. I just got to make sure the table is level and this is perpendicular. It looks like it's high on this side a little bit, so I gotta twist this. Now it's gonna be high on the other side. Let's see. That seems pretty close right there. That seems pretty close too, which is good because I don't have an adjustment for that, I don't think. So I'm going to go up a little bit, put it in here, and go down some so that I can get more depth. That little burr. Okay, on here I colored the one that I want to stop before, so I want to go to the last gold one. Where did what? I put a magnet over here so I'd always have a place to put this, and then I go and take it away with me. That's the reason I don't understand why people use step drills. This material is almost too thick for the steps on the step drill, so I don't know why people use them for everything. Just seems odd to me. And then trying to keep track of where you're cutting to is always a question also. Now these go on here, like that. Yay, it fit. Darn, it's snowing hard now. Let's see, I've made some washers that hopefully will bridge the gap between there, but they might be too thick. It's a little space there, but I think it'll work. Now I got both of those in there, so now I'm gonna measure between the two. 29 and 7/8. That's a little too tight. I wonder if my frame isn't square because it's right over here. There's a bend in the frame, so the whole frame probably isn't square. Maybe I'll just tack it quickly and then fit it to the cross member and make sure it functions properly. Oh, but the engine's in the way. I gotta take the engine off when I do that. Now I got this part tacked in. I gotta make the bars that go up to the shock towers. So probably the easiest to go from down here to up there. So like 11.5 inches. So 2 of them maybe. Okay, I got 4 of them cut. This is 2 of the 4. I got them kind of welded in. This one's not at the top and barely at the bottom, but I ran out of wire. Okay, now I'll take it off and see what it looks like and try and take the engine off of the chassis. I got the upper bolts out already. Why does that get wider as it goes down? So now I have this piece. I don't know what you can see. I'm too close. The part with the blue, I guess it goes up this way so it can. The part with the blue on top goes on the driver's side. I don't know if it'll fit backwards. But I guess on here I should trim off the inside here so that it. I got the engine off the subframe. Seem to have lost my jack handle for this though. Oh, of course, there was still fluid in it. Couldn't do anything different, you know. Engines only have so many tricks when you're taking them out. And I can put that in the garage and mess around with the subframe and the car. The car right there. Maybe I can move the rear subframe around with the torque bar, and then I can pick this piece up and stuff it up in there and see how it fits. Too bad I have it up so high. Might have to lower it down so I can hold the subframe up far enough to see how it works. I did bust off one of my shock towers. It doesn't fit on there with the shock tower anyways, so beautiful. But it's pretty close. I held it up in the car and it seemed like this was pretty similar shaped. I just have to get these holes mounted in the right spot. So I'll probably have to cut the piece out of the white car to weld in on the top there so that these holes are spaced correctly. But the center to center distance of this is almost exactly the same as that. So I think I didn't need to do all this work, but maybe. Looks like I got some good news. If you look right over there, the bolts that hold the subframe arm just go through the frame rail and are tack welded at the top there. So if this approximately 4 3/4 inches is similar to this, because these bolts are much shorter, but they're also tacked at the top. Looks like it's 4 inches, 4.5 inches, so I could just yank those bolts out and re-drill holes where they need to go and put the other bolts in. I might build a plate on top of here to stiffen this and rise it up to make it the same thickness from the bottom to the top, to where the bolts are, and then just hopefully they fit in between those two. So It's approximately 4.5 inches between the two. Between here, because that's 7 inches, 6.5 inches I mean. So that'll fit right in there. I just have to get it centered. And then if I take this upper plate out of here, just trim it out, then it'll come back over here and trim out this one and weld that one in where this one is. Then I'll have the 3-bolt pattern, and I'll have the spacing correct, and I'll have the correct bolts underneath. So I think I'm getting a plan here. So I got that subframe under there, but I gotta lower the car down, and I'm not sure if I'll do that today or not. But I'm kind of excited, so maybe I will. Okay, I got this lowered down quite a ways, and I think situated a little better on the cross beams with enough space at the front to hopefully get the suspension in. I might need to take off that extra piece while designing the system, while getting that up there, just so it's not in the way. But this is what it would look like jacked up 3 feet. The jack doesn't quite go up high enough, but you can see that my plan I think will work as long as I get the holes drilled in the exact spots centered on those two on the frame rails. So I gotta weld my bar back together and then use it to cut out this piece and cut out that piece on the white car, and then use my bracket to weld the new piece, or weld the white piece in here exactly where it goes, so that these bolts are lined up, the 3 bolts, and then that should bolt right up to the bottom of this frame. Back there on that hole that's right in the center, there's nothing really in this car to mount that to, so I will probably have to come over to this car and cut off this square piece here and weld it into the green car so that I have that mounting location. But let me close this hood real quick and I'll show you what it looks like so far. So it probably needs a little bit more adjustment toward the back. It's a little close in the front there, but a long ways in the back, so I probably need to slide it back a little bit. There we go. So that tire might be a little too big for the hole, so I might end up having to chop off the back and the corner of the front right there a little bit to give it a little bit more room. But I think it looks good that way. And then it's got some nice poke on there. So I think this is turning out to be a really cool project. It's a little closer on the chassis than I thought it was going to be. Again, I think my main problem is going to be that indent in the firewall and trying to get the 2-liter engine to mount correctly in this car. So again, that firewall back there with the cross member so far back, it'll have to cut that out. But then if I'm putting all the stuff in out of the other dash, that might be okay. So we'll keep marching forward, and the steering column hopefully is similarly placed in the other car so I can get it to line up to there. So I'm excited.
here's a look at the car with both axles in place, or mostly in place. The subframes are low and the springs are extended, so this is what you get, because if I try and compress the springs, it lifts the car up off the jack stands. So this is what you get for now. Hope you're enjoying.